Determination and prodigy of an inexperienced young man who with only 22 years would start a brewery business in Amsterdam, bought an old brewery, which for many would be a failure because no one drank beer, only Dutch gin in the years 1864. We speak of Gerard Heineken, the founder of the most valuable brewery in the world. Here in the story of success, we will tell you how a young inexperienced young man achieved with solidarity a brewing empire, changing the way of drinking a nation then the world. The history of Heineken. Gerard Adriaan Heineken decided to buy an Amsterdam brewery called Haystack. Heineken had big plans, and soon moved the Haystack brewery from the center of Amsterdam to a fantastic new building on the outskirts of the city, on what is now Stadhouderskade, with new facilities equipped to subject the beer to the novel bottom fermentation process. Heineken wanted to introduce a beer culture in Amsterdam's cafes, having a high-quality beer not previously tasted in the country, for the artistic and intellectual elite of the city. And he succeeded. It continued in other cities such as Heineken's Bierbrouwerij Maatschappij NV Brewery and the Kruiswijk Single in Rotterdam. Care for quality was of paramount importance. Most of the beer was transported to customers by ship and trains in the midst of the Industrial Revolution and was exposed to a variety of climatic conditions that endangered the quality of the product. One specific risk was the yeast in beer. Thanks to the scientific breakthroughs of both Dr. C. Linde with refrigeration machines and Dr. Elian with yeast, Heineken began to make huge profits. It didn't take long for requests from abroad to visit and learn about these innovations. Gerard Heineken was in love with France and wanted his beer to be a favorite in Paris. At the 1889 World's Fair, Heineken was awarded the Diplôme de Grand Prix. Previously, he had already won a gold medal in Paris and a Diplôme d'Honneur in Amsterdam. In 1914, following the death of his father Gerard, Henry Pierre took over the company at the age of 18, encouraging the introduction of modern technology. In view of the growing export market, in 1929 the brewery started its own production of bottled beer. Heineken bottles were distributed around the world from this factory, and a large part of them went to the United States and other foreign markets. In this way Heineken went from being a national company to becoming a multinational. Before beginning his career as brewery manager, Alfred Heineken spent 2 years living in the United States, where he discovered advertising and the effect of the Heineken brand, which led him to launch the first bottle of Heineken labeled with the brand in 1948. Thus began a long history of advertising campaigns and ads that, from that moment, focused on the brand and not the product, introducing changes in typography and logo Heineken. For many years, Heineken and Amstel had competed intensely, and both brands had an almost identical market share both in Amsterdam and the rest of the country. Amstel was famous for its sophisticated design and for brewing dark beers. At the same time, breweries abroad were looking for potential breweries in the Netherlands to take over, which was disturbing news for Heineken. The takeover of the Amstel brewery by Allied Breweries was disastrous for Heineken, and it was left with no alternative but to cooperate with them. During the 1970s, the beer market in Europe was highly segmented, and each country had its own culture with its own brewing tradition. Heineken wanted to conquer strong Europe and replace the other beer brands. France was the first target with the purchase of Brasserie de l'Espérance, Strasbourg. This was followed by a majority stake in the Italian Dreyer Group. It also moved the Rotterdam brewery to rural central Rotterdam, starting Heineken's tradition of environmentally sustainable brewing. Heineken continued to forge ahead as an international company and brand through successful advertising campaigns. The color green was used in its advertisements around the world. By the early 1980s, Heineken was sold in 145 countries around the world. The green export bottle was accompanied by other green objects, such as the Heineken coaster, neon lights, umbrellas for glasses and the counter setup. Meanwhile, Heineken's advance across Europe continued, with Irish beer Murphy's and Spanish beer El Águila. In 1989, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, Heineken expanded eastward. It acquired a majority stake in the Hungarian Komrum brand, the Polish Żywiec, and continued to move into Russia. In the Far East, Heineken built breweries in Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. Heineken continued to strengthen its position throughout Europe, in France with Fischer, in Italy with Moretti, and in Spain with Cruzcampo. At the end of 1999, the Heineken brand was hailed by the Dutch business sector as the brand of the century, and Alfred Heineken was named Advertiser of the Century. His daughter, Charlene de Carvalho Heineken, continues the family tradition through her work in the management of the company, being the only heir of the founder, Gerard Adriaan Heineken, a man who knew how to start a brewing business, when a whole country was against, managed to change the way of drinking. We hope this video has been useful and has informed you. If so, give us your like to continue uploading videos. If not, feel free not to do so. Thank you very much for watching.